your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, Digital Connect Center in Carmalita Village falls victim to criminals. The entire center is cleared of its equipment. Elmer Na found not guilty of keeping ammunition charges. Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai speaks on the illegal trade of Belize's sugar that is leading to a shortage of the product and the ticketing system being enforced upon businesses found guilty of price gouging. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, October 19th, 2023.
That'll be $50. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake.
How do you know it's a fake?
What are you talking about, sir? How can I identify a genuine note from a fake note?
Well, a genuine 50 has a watermark with the jaguar and the written words of the 50, also a thread.
Know your money and know a fake one when you see it. Do not rely on any one security feature. Look for the clarity and quality of printing. The printed lines and colors should be sharp and clear. Feel the quality of the paper and the raised print. Hold the note up to the light to see the windowed security thread. It should form one complete line when held up to the light. The watermark and denominational electrotype. The Jaguar is the watermark in the $100 and $50 notes. The Sleeping Giant is the watermark in the $20, $10, $5, and $2 notes. The see-through feature. The parts of the design printed on the back should fit exactly within the unprinted areas of the front to form the complete design. Check the $100 note for the toucan hologram with the periwinkle flower overprint. Tilt it to see the small images of the toucan and the numeral 100. Check the $50 note for the green foil angelfish. Check even closer. Use an ultraviolet light to see the fluorescent features. Use a magnifier to see the microlettering. Tiny letters that read Central Bank of Belize and the value of the note. Stop the circulation of counterfeit Belize currency notes. Pass all counterfeits to the police at once. It is a criminal offense to hold or use a counterfeit. Be safe, be sure, know your money.
are dreams. That you never forget.
The lights change how everything looks. It's hard to find our house.
Ours is the dark house with no lights.
In this family, it's the scientists versus the artists.
What kind of movie are we gonna make?
You stop making movies, it'll break your mother's heart. I don't know what to do anymore.
You do what your heart says you have to.
What was your favorite part?
Jonas, we need your help. We're detecting increased aquatic activity 25,000 feet deep in the trench. It's an ancient ecosystem untouched by man. Whatever is down there is trying to make its way to the surface.
This was a bad idea.
Just a little bit.
Jonas, we've got company.
That's the biggest Meg I've ever seen.
Biggest Meg anyone's ever seen.
That's the apex predator.
Everybody make it to the station! You can make it! Keep going!
3 massive Megs and who knows what else have escaped the breach.
I just hope it goes better than last time.
What happened last time? You don't want to know.
This ain't the end. I saw you again.
Go! We've never seen this before. They hunted in packs.
You can relax. This place, Meg-proof. I mean, Jonas was always afraid of this, but I was also thinking...
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. 3 months ago, the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy and E-Governance, through its E-Governance and Digitalization Unit, inaugurated a Digital Connect Center in the community of Carmalita. The center was part of the ministry's project to provide increased access to technology and digital resources in rural communities to help bridge the digital divide and promote digital literacy. But to the dismay of the community this week, the digital center was burglarized and the culprits made off with all the equipment donated to the center. The incident played out sometime between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning when a person or persons broke the lock to the community center and made off with items valued at over $15,000. The incident, according to village chairman Victor Polanco, has left residents disheartened.
Fortunately, we had a break-in at the Carmalita Community Center. Apparently, this was done on Tuesday night between the hours of 12:30. All 6 all equipments were stolen from the community center. This was a gift from the Taiwanese government, especially for the village of Carmelita. At the moment, I feel very sad that this has happened. Something that was supposed to be good for the village, and it's incredible. It's really something unbelievable, to understand that what could have happened, if we know that this was supposed to be something that would help in the education, especially of the primary school students, of high school, and any other institution. This was something that would help village, and since we have it would help the village, in other words, to uplift them, and it makes us really sad, and at the same time disturbed about what's happening around the village.
The items stolen include 6 desktop computers fully equipped with state-of-the-art monitors, webcams, backup batteries, Wi-Fi adapters, and stereo speakers. The persons responsible for this break-in, according to Polanco, have robbed the children of Carmelita the opportunity for digital inclusion.
Yesterday, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I received a call from one of our neighbors, which said that the front door of the community center was open, and she didn't know what really happened. So when I came, we did notice that everything was gone, and so immediately we contacted the police department. They came over, and they checked all the fingerprints and to gather any information that they could, we just have some neighbors that would say that they heard the dogs barking the night before, and we know they had to have something to take all these stuff. It was a good amount of money that was invested in this. Right now, we're still working with the Taiwanese to see what is the total, but it's a good sum. It's really a good sum of money that was lost.
Anyone with information that can lead to the apprehension of those responsible for theft is asked to contact the nearest police station or the Carmelita Village Council.
This would have really put an impact on the village. This is something that was really being lobbied for a while for this to happen here in the village, and now that we had it, it was taken from the whole village. It wasn't for me, it wasn't from our council, it was for the whole village.
As previously mentioned, the items stolen include 6 desktop computers with monitors, webcams, backup batteries, Wi-Fi adapters, and stereo speakers. Residents are reminded that purchasing stolen items is an offense punishable by law. For several weeks, there have been reports of sugar shortages in areas across the country, particularly in the West and South. Last week, the sugar mill, BSI, ESR, came out to address the issue, saying that the situation is less of a sugar scarcity and more of a situation where Belizean sugar is being illegally sold to neighboring countries like Guatemala and Mexico. Today, the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Hosemai, also addressed the matter, which he says is being triggered by a shortage of sugar in the region and the low price of the commodity in Belize. The only possible solution, according to Minister Mai, is an adjustment to the price of sugar in Belize.
We have heard the complaints from the different store owners and from the public in general that there is a scarcity or unavailable sugar on the shelves. I think scarcity is not the appropriate term because there's no scarcity according to BSI. Remember that BSI is the only company that sells sugar in the country locally. I've heard them on the news saying that there's no scarcity. What happens though is that our sugar in Belize is the cheapest in the region, which is a controlled price of sugar. So if you are a wholesaler, and by the way, it's not the government who chooses the wholesaler. BSI chooses who they want to sell to. I don't know what criteria they use, but they are the ones who choose their wholesalers. I don't know what is the basis for the choosing. So if they are a wholesaler and they get 100 sacks of sugar and they have to sell that sugar for a maximum price because it's a controlled price, and somebody comes from Guatemala and offer you $15 more per sack on that sugar, obviously the sugar will go to that person, and that person will see how he or she takes the sugar across to Guatemala. Now, or to Mexico. I've seen images of BSI or sugars in BSI sack being caught in Guatemala. Now, it just shows you that we are selling sugar at a very low price, right? The industry suffers. In other words, the farmers or the industry is subsidizing the Guatemalans. So the right thing to do, I believe, is to make an adjustment to the sugar price. But again, the public, there will be an outcry because the cost of living is high and they will say we are adding to it. But I believe it is unfair for the cane farmer to be subsidizing the Guatemalans and the Mexicans. The price for sugar in Guatemala is 3 times the price in Belize, and in Mexico is the same.
While there is no set regulation to penalize persons responsible for smuggling sugar out of Belize, Minister Mai says that there needs to be repercussions for these illegal customs.
There is a scarcity in the region because productivity this year was less than last year. This year we had 30% less than last year. So obviously there is a low amounts to be on the markets in general, and so that's why they have the demand. 80 million people in Guatemala and 123 million people in Mexico. So obviously they have a shortage and an urgency for sugar, and they look at Belize as the cheapest source of sugar, and so let's go for it. Who to blame? I think we have to accept fault for that.
How about people that are passing are smuggling the sugar to the Guatemalan side?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that the sugar finds its way into the Guatemala market or into the Mexican market.
Can these persons be penalized on our side or no?
I believe they can. I believe they can. But again, I think that when you have an uneven price like that, it will happen.
Elmer Na, Epifania Callis, and Manuel Callis have been found not guilty of 2 counts of keeping ammunition without a gun license in the magistrate's court. The presiding senior magistrate found that while none of the accused had license for the ammunition and bulletproof vest found inside the vehicle they were traveling in on the Southern Highway on November of 2021, the Callises were not aware what they were traveling with, and so they could not have been said to have possessed it by the letter of the law. In the case of Elmer Na, he claimed to have been called back to duty from vacation and that a colleague, Corporal Richard Arnold, had asked him to bring the items which he had signed out for and which he needed. It is of note that police are allowed under the Firearms Act to use, possess, and carry weapons and ammunition while in the course of their duties or practicing shooting. One of the attorneys for the accused, Richard Dickey Bradley, said his clients had been subject to malicious prosecution tied to drug plane landing in the area of Bladen Village on the night of November 5th, 2021. He spoke to the media about the outcome of the case after the verdict was handed down.
We are not at all surprised that a court of law, once again in our country, has shown that you can get justice. The police were wrong from the get-go to charge all three persons and have them subjected to what they were subjected to. You all know that when they charge you for ammunition and firearms, you automatically go to jail. The time has come for that law to be amended. That is unfair to hundreds and hundreds of citizens in this country. When you are charged, it's an allegation against you. You will hear a public release from the association of some 18 or 21 defense lawyers who are convinced in their minds that now at the Supreme Court, the High Court, there is a marked difference where it's almost like a special effort to deny bail to the citizens of Belize. When you are charged by the police, it's an allegation against you. It can't be fair that you must go to jail for minimum of 90 days. And the court is being encouraged not to interfere with the 90 days period if the case has to do with an indictable offense. It means hundreds and hundreds of people will remain in jail longer than 90 days.
While prosecutor Alifa Ellington signaled she may appeal the ruling, Bradley says it's a waste of the court's time.
Section 33 of the law is there in front of everybody, and foolishness will want appeal. What they are trying to say is that no police officer can have ammunition or gun or bulletproof vest. That is what they are trying to say when they tell you.
Properly signed out.
No, that is not a crime.
He hadn't been the one to sign it out, and the magistrate admitted that there was serious breach of the internal procedures of the department.
That is not a crime.
But wasn't he on holiday at the time?
That is not a crime. Understand that if the police make you sign out for the gun or no sign out, that is an internal matter. We are talking about a criminal charge that will land you in jail for a minimum of 5 years. They are two different things. I'm sorry that they don't pick that up. I'm sorry they don't pick that up. How many innocent people are facing charges when there is no crime that has been committed?
But if the prosecution had been able to...
No, about being able, nothing. No, Marisol, listen to me. There is a procedure. There is a procedure according to a witness that came to court in this case to say things which are not accurate in law. He can't give nobody permission to have firearms or equipment. He's merely... Yes, here we are in here. You hear when he not the armorer, he not the judge, he not the magistrate. The armorer is required to keep account. So much bullet gone to so much officers, so much kind of gun go to so much officers. That is internal, man. That have nothing to do with a criminal charge.
Nas still faces a triple murder charge for the Ramnarees brothers and that of Vivian Ramnarees on New Year's Day. It's been a continuous and repeated cry for Belizeans across the country. The cost of living has skyrocketed and people are struggling to keep up with purchasing food items and paying their bills. Since the start of the year, the government has been working on implementing legislations that will address the matter of price gouging, which has been a main contributor to the high cost of living. Today, when we met the Minister of Agriculture, Jose Abelardo Mike, who is also the Minister of Food Security, we asked him for an update on those efforts, which he says has seen several businesses being ticketed for this offense.
We have legislation in place for that now, right? For price gouging. And our people are on the ground, boots on the ground, visiting the stores and issuing tickets when there is a case to be dealt with. They issue tickets.
Do you have any information of how much businesses have been ticketed till now?
Look, the last time I heard, I think in 2 weeks, I issued like 14 or 15 tickets in 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks. In the past, I think in 8 or 9 years or 10 years, we've taken like 4 people to court, and last 3, something like that. because the system was not, it was a very weak system. Today, we're more effective. And listen to me, the moment you give one ticket to one store, that's it, the rest start to fall into line.
Has the price control on certain products been implemented? I know the last time it was...
That is being implemented as we speak.
Agriculture Minister Honorable Hossein Mai today also responded on the current saga involving regulations governing members of the House of Representatives and the manner in which they address other House members, including the Speaker of the House. This matter became a hot topic following unwelcome remarks made to the Speaker of the House in an email that was sent to her back in August by the opposition leader. After being given 18 days to apologize to the Speaker for his remarks, the leader of the opposition wrote to the chair of the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee requesting that comments made by the Minister of Agriculture towards Honorable Tracy Panton inside the House be discussed. When we asked the Minister about the matter today, he highlighted that while the opposition leader is attempting to put on a political show, his situation is much different than the one Barrow is currently facing.
I thought that matter had blown over already. It's 1 year almost already. I mean, that crop season is over, another crop season began, and it's over now. So I don't know whether that matter is coming back. But look, when that occurred in the House, I personally called Tracy. And I said to Honorable Tracy, and I said, I'm sorry for what was said. It was not intentionally said in that way, and I apologized to her. And she accepted my apology. On the telephone we spoke cordially, because Tracy and I have a cordial relationship. But I think thereafter the politicking kicked in, and they're asking her to do this thing in public or in the House. Listen to me, it matters not, right? I said to her that, listen, I did not intend to say that way. I apologized to her. I did. And I did it from the comfort of my living room. Right? And I said, Tracy, I'm sorry for what I said. Please accept my apology. I said, fine, Minister, no problem at all. But then later on this come up. So, you can clearly see it's a political show they want to play. Right? We all make mistakes in life, right? We're not perfect. And it slipped. And I said it, and I said, I called her personally. I said, Trace, please apologize for what I said. What they want to take us as a political football.
And is that situation comparable to what happened between the opposition leader and Madam Speaker?
Clearly not. His actions were not spontaneous. His actions were calculating. He was calculating, he planned, he wrote, and he emailed. And he insisted in Parliament. Clearly not. Clearly not. You cannot compare my situation to his.
Coming up next, the PCC meets with the expat community of Corozal. We'll tell you what changes they are recommending to the Constitution. Stay tuned.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere. Another timeline. Another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I'm not going to lose her again. Time has a pattern that it can't help reliving. Different people, different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets. It's my face. You stole my face.
If you were to go into the past, you have no idea what the consequences can be.
Bruce, I could fix things.
You could also destroy everything.
This can't be happening. I completely broke the universe. Zod.
We've been waiting for you.
I created a world with no metahumans. And now there's no one to defend us.
Want some help?
You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
If I can't undo what I did, if I can't get back, there might not be a future. What's the play? Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
It's not Clark.
My name is Kara.
I'm Barry. We're Barry. Barry, what are you doing? Our kids are gonna want to see this.
Come on, let's go! We gotta catch up with Scooby-Doo!
In the middle of nowhere, Scooby-Doo found a little courage.
That's me!
It's my friends. Oh! And a lot of adventure.
Like, man, this place is totally freaky. Why is the water dripping upward?
Now,
If you're in a situation, I've never seen cicadas that big before. More weird and creepy, mysterious stuff happens in nowhere than anywhere else in the world.
it's on our flag.
Getting scared, then welcome to the town that isn't there.
Enjoy.
Yes, Mayo. There's nowhere to run. The insects grow to crazy sizes here.
Where creepy is a compliment, bananas is a verb. Bravery, I'm confident, is still a dirty word.
And nowhere to hide.
Gesundheit!
Oh, thank you.
If you're falling down a rabbit hole, the so laugh until you cry a bit, and then you get unstuck. Are you nutty as a fruitcake? Are you loony as a tune? And quit your scowl and do some howling at the moon, like me. Woohoo!
We gotta save Scoob!
Straight out of nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Jackpot! Watch the masters at work!
Needs more mustard. Excuse me, must have been something I ate. Look for it on digital and DVD.
Retraction and apology to Belize Sugar Industries Limited. On the 10th of July 2023, Mr. Alfredo Ortega made certain statement on CTV's Despierta Belize, alleging that Belize Sugar Industries Limited, BSI, engaged in the following activities. 1. Engaging in slavery. 2. Not respecting the law. Mr. Alfredo Ortega acknowledges that these statements were expressions of his opinions and may have been misunderstood as factual allegations. He regrets any harm caused by these statements and understands that they may have adversely affected BSI's globally recognized trade reputation as a provider of sugar. Mr. Alfredo Ortega unreservedly apologizes to BSI and retracts those statements in their entirety. He also undertakes not to have them repeated.
The following is a retraction and apology to the Belize Sugar Industries Limited. On the 10th of July 2023, Mr. Oscar Alonso made certain statements on CTV3's Despierta Belize, alleging that Belize Sugar Industries Limited, BSI, engages in the following activities. 1. Stealing sugar from cane farmers. 2. Oppressing people. Mr. Oscar Alonso acknowledges that these statements were expressions of his own opinions and may have been been misunderstood as factual allegations. He regrets any harm caused by these statements and understands that they may have adversely affected BSI's globally recognized trade reputation as a provider of sugar. Mr. Oscar Alonso unreservedly apologizes to the BSI and retracts to those statements in their entirety. He also undertakes not to have them repeated.
The People's Constitutional Commission held a singular meeting today in Corozal. Expats were invited to a discussion with the Commission at the Corozal House of Culture to get their input in the consultation process that will provide recommendations to GOB in order to amend the existing constitution. With the expats composing about 9% of Belize's population, their major issue is that of immigration, which does not necessarily align with the work of the PCC's consultation. Nevertheless, it is an existing issue that needs to be addressed. We spoke to the PCC's vice president, who detailed what transpired today.
What we did is we have divided the country into zones, and we allowed the zone leaders to come up with a strategy that would best capture their people. The Corozal zone acknowledged the importance of the role of the expat community here in Corozal and thought it beneficial to consult with them. And so that's how we came up with being able to meet with the expats today. It's important that they got to voice their issues because they raised several issues that affect them. Some of them are not directly constitutional issues, but they went at pains to explain the processes that are in limbo at immigration for them. So from getting their stamps to getting their the process for getting permanent residency. One individual told us that she's been in that process for 3 years and still has not had any success. These are important things because it speaks to the functioning of our public service. So they did raise issues like healthcare and the need for education of our population, but mainly their focus was on the issues that they have as people who love this country, who are trying to be citizens, who are trying to be contributing members of this society and are running into bureaucratic roadblocks.
While the expats can be considered a minority group in Belize, their contributions, though illegal under the current constitution, can be a deterrent to the development of the communities they reside in if the laws are not changed. We asked Denison about what can be done.
What we are tasked to do is to record the views of the people and to make recommendations. So the laws that exist that are restricting their ability to work, and those are immigration policy issues. That is not directly the mandate of the PCC. However, we have a duty to raise these issues because they have a constitutional context. What the government will decide to do as it relates to how they flesh out that immigration policy would be for the government and the immigration department, but I can say that immigration policy, immigration reform has been one of the issues that has been raised consistently at the PCC, so we will definitely be addressing that issue.
For Doris Acton, she calls Belize her home after migrating from the USA a few years ago. But life in Belize for her has not been that colorful per se. Here is what she told us.
My interest in being here today is wondering if I'm in the country legally, because I got robbed in Mexico. I turned in my paperwork at the border like I was told I had to, and then Belmopan is telling me I have to have that paperwork, but I can't get it back, and this has been 2 years now. So I had a copy on my phone, and I've been using that to prove my residency. And I haven't had a problem with it, but I foresee that it's going to happen in the future. And I'd like to know how I go about getting another stamp when I can't prove that it was stolen. And actually, someone at immigration's told me I should just go file a police report here saying that I was robbed here to make it easy on everybody, which is kind of crazy, and I'm not going to do it. So I just use my one that I have on my phone when I cross the border, and we'll see what happens. But also somebody said that those had to be renewed. Mine hasn't got an expiration date, so am I here legally or illegally? I don't have any. I have no options. Unless I go start a whole new process, and why should I do that? I've been a permanent resident since 2016, you know. So it's kind of a damned if you do and damned if you don't.
So let me try to understand this. So the issue is that you lost your passport in Mexico.
I got
You
robbed.
did get a.
I got a police report. I had it translated, Spanish and English, and they made me hand it in at the border when I crossed the border. And then when I called about getting a new stamp in my passport, in my new passport, they told me I had to get that paperwork back from the border. Well, I can't get the paperwork back from the border. It's been 2 years.
Where do you want to see this whole PCC process going?
I just want it to be easier for the people, for us, for anybody that comes into the country. I just think it could be made a lot less troublesome.
Like we told you, the major issue for the expats residing in the Corozal district surrounds the bitter experiences when visiting the immigration department for paperwork. This is the story of Don Heat.
The biggest thing was immigration and the length of time to get your permanent residency. I've been waiting almost 3 years now. And the other thing is education here for the Belizean children. They are the future. And there's so many bright, talented children that I've met on the streets. Their parents can't afford to send them to school. And that is something that's really, truly important, I think, for the future of Belize, is making sure that all Belizean children have an education. Whether the parents can afford it or not, they should be allowed to go to school.
You're saying free education.
Free education. If you want me to pay, that's perfectly fine. But the Belizeans, so many parents can't afford, especially since COVID happened. They've lost their jobs. They've not been able to get jobs. So they're doing good just to make their daily living. Children need to be in school. It's vital for them to have that, to learn that knowledge that they need to take them somewheres in the future. I think this is a really good start to start wonderful changes for this beautiful country. Everything has to start somewheres. This is a great start. The thing I like is they're reaching out to all the different communities, not just the locals, but us that choose to live here too, to hear our concerns. I do think this is going to be a very good platform to better Belize.
We understand the PCC will be hosting another meeting in Corozal in the coming days to accommodate the LGBT community that is considered a minority group, but whose input in the process will make the results more inclusive. Amid stakeholders from the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise and the Cooperative Department, today 2 new cooperative groups were officially sworn in here in the Orange Walk district. The 2 newly recognized groups are the Northern Coconut Growers Cooperative Society Limited and the Indian Church Farmers Cooperative Society Limited. These new cooperatives have transitioned to formal and legally recognized enterprises under the oversight of the Department of Cooperatives. This achievement, according to Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Mai, brings about great opportunity for growth and development to both organizations.
Most of the international financing institutions know for us to for us to qualify for these resources, we have to form cooperatives. Cooperativism in Belize in general has had a very bad name, a very bad past. But our new administration has focused a lot on strengthening cooperatives, strengthening the cooperative department, and then form new cooperatives with new updated guidelines so that these cooperatives can succeed. Only by forming good cooperatives and by working using the principles of cooperativism will we draw down on these resources. And so it is important for us to educate the people, to form the cooperatives, that we take the training from the cooperatives and then start to work from there. The cooperatives are involved in many production of various commodities. Honey is one. We have this one is a coconut. The other is a vegetable. And there are others who are pitahaya and doing soursop and other fruits. So I think that we are on the right track. We have, since 2021, we have, I think, formed like 13 or 14 new cooperatives, which is a good sign. So we have right now in the pipeline CRESAP, which is the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Agriculture Development Project. That project has $25 million for farmers. And so it is just in time so that these cooperatives can benefit from those resources.
Recognizing a cooperative whose focus is coconut production, according to Minister Mai, highlights the work of the ministry in ensuring diversification within the agriculture sector through the introduction of priority crops.
Diversification is very important. That term has been around for many, many years, since I'm a kid. We in the north have produced cane for the last 50 years, sugarcane, and we have been hearing, diversification into what? To what? The first thing you have to answer is, why are you going to diversify and for what? Everything that you do, everything a farmer does, it has to be market-led and profit-driven. So we have identified 3 commodities: coconut, pitahaya, and soursop. And so those 3 have excellent markets. Those 3 have very good markups. In other words, the farmer can do a profit off it. And so those are the 3 commodities we have prioritized. And so one of the cooperatives today is focusing on the production of coconuts.
As a cooperative, the groups now qualify for substantial benefit, which, according to Registrar of Cooperatives within the Department of Cooperatives, Garrett Murillo, also translate the benefits to the communities in which they serve.
Cooperatives are business enterprises based on the values of self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, equity, and solidarity. They subscribe to 7 principles: 1, voluntary and open membership; 2, democratic member control; 3, member economic participation; 4, autonomy and independence; 5, education, training, and information; 6, cooperation among cooperatives; and last but certainly not least, concern for community. The best cooperative members are those who agree with and believe in the ethical values of honesty, openness, social responsibility, and caring for others. But cooperatives are not a one-size-fits-all solution to the challenges faced by you as small farmers. Cooperatives are only as good as members make them to be. When as members you stop investing time and energy, cooperatives reduce the benefits they provide. Cooperatives also need to invest time and money in supporting the democratic process, in educating members about key issues, holding meetings, and responding to member concerns. This can be costly and time-consuming. And cooperatives, as compared to other business models, may also have difficulty accessing capital. Most also lack managerial or administrative capacity, resulting in poor management of assets, books, and communication breakdowns, which lead to issues with accountability, transparency, and member commitment and loyalty. But this is where being a registered enterprise and part of a broader cooperative movement allows you to have support.
With both entities now an official part of the Department of Cooperatives, these farmers will also have access to resources from the department as well as its partners like the BMDC and BAHA.
Globally, cooperatives are not a marginal phenomenon. There are some 3 million cooperatives across the world with over 1 billion members, providing jobs or work opportunities for 280 million people, with the top 300 corps turning over 2.17 trillion with a T, US dollars. Both of you here today, you could have chosen to be any type of enterprise. We appreciate that you chose to become cooperatives. And so congratulations and welcome to the cooperative.
Since the start of 2021, there have been a total of 10 new cooperatives registered in the Orange Walk district, including 4 in 2022 and 2 this year. As we told you, the Public Constitution Commission was in Corozal this morning and engaged with the expat community for at least 3 hours. While the meeting was successful, the Commission is yet to continue its consultations around the country. Some 23 organizations are represented on the Commission, ranging from political parties to civil society to minority organizations. It is a tough and unprecedented process that could lead to a major revamp of the Belize Constitution. Though there is an existing timeline for the consultations to end and recommendations delivered to GOB, today we found out that an extension is necessary, and for that to happen, financing is also needed. Vice Chair of the People's Constitution Commission, Glenfield Dennison, told us more.
PCC Act allows or envisions already that there may be a need for a 6-month extension. Based on the way the consultations have been going, how robust they've been, the concerns of the people, I can foresee the need for an extension. But the PCC is meeting later on this month, where we will ventilate the place that we are now and the projections that we're going to reassess our projections on the timeline. And I think later on, after that meeting, we'd be better able to give the people of Belize a more informed decision on how long we may need an extension for. The issue of financing from the PCC is well ventilated. The government appropriates a budget for us through the legislature. If we get an extension, in fact, even without an extension, we would be required to submit a budget for the next financial year. So I think by then we would know how far ahead we would go, and we'd be able to make those budget requests, and we'd see where the allocations would come.
CTV3 News will keep you posted about the extension when the request is handed in by the PCC, which could lead to an amendment to the PCC Act. The 2023-2024 sugarcane crop season is scheduled to begin in the month of December. As the industry prepares to welcome a new season, however, there is still a gray cloud looming over all stakeholders, which threatens the start of the season, much like it has done for the past 2 years. We are talking about the current impasse between the BSI ESR and the BSCFA over the signing of a new commercial agreement. Discussions over this matter have been ongoing for many months, and as the start of the new crop nears, there doesn't seem to be a resolution in sight. Today, when we asked the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Hassan Mai, about the issue, he told us that while discussions are still ongoing, the need for an extension to the current agreement seems to be the only way forward at this time.
That discussion has started already, and it's being accelerated. The discussions are being accelerated as we speak this week.
Any talks about an extension to the commercial agreement between the two?
There has to be.
As it relates to the Commission of Inquiry into the modernization of the sugar industry, which was expected to be established this year, Minister Mai says the process is still ongoing.
In terms of the commission of inquiry into the modernization of the sugar industry, how is that situation?
Moving ahead slowly, but it's moving. It's moving.
Have the commissioners been appointed?
About to.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, October 28th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3newsBZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.